Hey guys, it's Tyler from 402 Outdoors. We, this fall, have been fortunate enough to get a couple deer for the freezer. Some that we have taken ourselves and some that we have had given to us by some friends. So what we're going to do today is kind of show you how we do some of our own homemade venison jerky. Everything that we do most time is going to be from a rump roast or some sort of hind quarter roast, and I know a lot of people do like a ground jerky and use like a jerky gun, but we prefer to just do ours as a muscle jerky on the meat slicer. Generally what we'll start off doing is we'll take one of these roasts here. It is a lot easier to work on one of these if they are slightly frozen. So what we actually did was when we first processed the deer, we cut everything out, we vacuum sealed everything, and we put it in the deep freeze. Let it get nice and frozen solid. And then we actually took it out yesterday to let it start to de-thaw, so it's softer. It's not frozen solid like a rock, but the centerpiece of this is actually still pretty hard, and it's just going to make it behave on the meat slicer a lot nicer. What I'll generally do is I'll start by cutting this roast into a couple different pieces. With one about this size, it's probably going to end up being 3 different pieces, and then we're going to run that on the meat slicer and marinate it from there. After you've cut it up, you should have just these nice, easily manageable hand-sized chunks. I know you guys can't really see it from the video, but essentially this outer piece here is nice and soft as it's starting to defrost, but this center piece here is actually still nice and hard, which is just going to run really, really well on here. So we're going to get the meat slicers set up, and we'll show you guys how we're slicing, how thick of cuts we use, things like that. Alright guys, so now that we've got our meat slicer set up, we're going to get to slicing some of this so that way we can start getting it ready to go in our marinade. One thing, whenever you guys are working with equipment like this, please make sure you're being safe. Last thing anybody wants is to ruin their jerky experience by coming out with one less digit one than what they came in with. So the one that we're using here actually even has a safety button here, so it's a 2-step system. You got to press both buttons at once. If either one of those is let go, it's going to turn off. So just make sure you guys are being safe. When we run these in the slicer, we generally will take them and you'll have a round way, a wide way, and then a long way. And we're going to run that the long way. It just kind of gives us what we feel are a little bit better slices for when we're making our jerky. And we're just going to go ahead and run that through our slicer. It's going to come out on the back side, and we'll show you what kind of those jerky sheets are going to look like after we've ran a couple through. So here you go guys, this is kind of what we're looking for out of our jerky. Nice hand-sized pieces, and we're running them in about a like a 3/16 cut, just to, we feel when we're doing the dehydrator that gives it just a nice good texture. So running it through, and we're just going to keep slicing this and show you guys what we all have at the end. Alright guys, so this is kind of what we're looking for as a final product once we've ran through on the slicer. These nice, big, beautiful sheets of muscle jerky. This is really what we're trying to get when we're running these and making our own jerky. So what we do is we are going to take everything that we have sliced here and get it in a nice big bowl. We have added a little bit of onion on here so far, just as a whole ingredient. You know, that's one thing that I love flavor of, is getting a little bit of onion in there. And then we'll kind of show you. There's a lot of great jerky seasonings on the market that you can buy, a lot of great jerky marinades that you can buy. We do everything ourselves. You know, there's some good flavors, but we just like to experiment with some different things and make stuff the way we want it. So just kind of starting from this side here, go across. We run a Fat Boy rub, just a Himalayan sea salt, garlic powder, paprika. This is a homemade hot pepper ground that we make ourselves, and then just a little bit of black pepper. For ingredients, it was probably a 3-pound roast. And so we're going to run 2 tablespoons, tablespoon, probably a half tablespoon. Use this kind of to your flavor. It's pretty hot, so we just run a pinch of it, and then about another 2 tablespoons of black pepper in there, just to give it that nice, good peppery flavor. So we'll go ahead and get all of that in there. And then you're just going to get your hands dirty, get it all mixed up, make sure everything's got a nice even coat all the way around. Once everything is nice and evenly distributed, we will get started on the marinade, and that's going to be our next step. So one thing that we always run in all of our jerky marinades, no matter what it is liquid smoke. We feel it just gives it some awesome flavor. We don't a lot of times always have the ability to run it in the smoker, so giving just a little bit of that flavor to it is great. Next thing that we love running, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. Gives it just some good tang in there. A good amount of teriyaki sauce is always beneficial to give it, a nice, Korean barbecue-y flavor. And that's even one of the things, even for mass-produced jerkies, that you always see as an option is a teriyaki flavor that they do. So it's obviously a popular one on the market. And then soy. Soy is, in my opinion, one of the most important things to get in there. I love the flavor. I'm a big fan of Asian food, so getting a good healthy amount of that in there is awesome. And I also find that running soy on there actually gives it really good color. It seems to darken up the meat quite a bit and gives it a really awesome presentation when it is done. Make sure you have everything all nice and mixed up in there. Everything's blended well. And from here, we are going to let this sit in the fridge. Our marinade times will vary, and really it just kind of depends on what we're wanting. We've done as short as like a 12-hour marinade, and we've gone as long as like a 72-hour marinade. The longer you let it marinate, the more flavor it's going to pull in. You will also notice that meat will actually break down a little bit though as well, with it sitting longer in there too. So that's kind of personal preference on what you want, but we're gonna get this going in the fridge, let it sit, and we'll come back to you guys when we're gonna get it going on the dehydrator. Alright guys, so we've been having our jerky marinade for quite some time now, and so we're gonna go ahead and we already pulled it out of the fridge. We're gonna show you how we're setting it up on our dehydrator. A couple different ways that a lot of people make jerky. You can do it in the oven, you can do it on a smoker or on a grill. We just like doing it in a dehydrator. It's really nice and easy to let it set up for quite a few hours. You don't have to keep an eye on it like you would with an oven or a grill. Have to worry about things like that. So what you'll do is you'll take your dehydrator. There's a couple different styles. There's some of the ones that almost look kind of like an oven. And then there's the stackable ones here. We use those stackable ones that just seems to work best for us. You'll start with, on the bottom, place your first tray, and you're just going to start putting that jerky across these trays here. Nice and flat. You want that meat spread out. As you're putting those strips in, you want to make sure they're not folded in half or anything like that. Have them opened up all the way, so it's just a nice, even dehydrate across the whole thing. And you want to have all that jerky packed as tightly in there as possible without touching. I really wish you guys could smell this right now. This smells amazing. And it's one of those things that when you are doing the dehydrator is we will smell this throughout the night and into the morning as this is going. And it is just going to be very, very tempting the entire time to want to get into this. Alright, so we've got all of our jerky loaded up into our trays here on our dehydrator. For the thickness that we cut these at, we're probably going to let them go for about 9 hours until we first check it, which it's 10:30 at night, so that's going to be perfect. We're going to let this sit overnight, wake up at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning before work, and be able to check this and see how it needs to go from there. So as you guys can see, we've actually already got another batch going here in the dehydrator, but we just wanted to kind of show you the final product of the jerky that we've been making. This stuff came out perfect. It's dried out to an awesome consistency. It's super delicious, super lightweight too. We pack a lot of the stuff for meals when we're on the trail and out camping. And what's awesome about it is because of how thin and how dry we get it, this stuff is good for months. You don't have to worry about it. And we're going to go ahead and give it a taste test here. That is some really good jerky. We're going to end up needing to make more because I don't think between me and the rest of the family that this is going to last long at all. So, thank you guys for following along with us, and hopefully we can show you guys some more awesome recipes on what we do with some of the stuff that we take and some of the other things that we prepare for when we're out on the trail.